Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Andrea Bonina. I am a partner at Bonina & Bonina, and this is Frequently Asked Friday. At our firm, we represent victims of accidents, malpractice, and sexual abuse, and we always advise our clients to lock their privacy down on social media. Now, since the passage of the Adult Survivors Act, we've been hearing a lot of stories about online stalking, online harassment, and other forms of sexual abuse. And we decided that we would talk about both of these issues, locking down your privacy online and harassment online, by answering the question today of how can I keep myself safe from harassment online? So some background about online harassment. Pre-pandemic, about 21% of women experienced some form of abuse or harassment online. After lockdown, when the virtual world became a much more common place to communicate, 46% of women surveyed reported experiencing online abuse. Now, men experience online abuse too, but the numbers are about half for men. Often this online harassment is sexual in nature, and it can range anywhere from someone sending an unwanted explicit picture of themselves to perpetrators using online information to stalk and harass victims. And there are ways that you can protect yourself from this form of abuse and protect your privacy, so let's talk about them. The first way I would advise you to stay safe online is to limit the identifying information that you post on social media. Posting your address, your birthday, or responses to fun fact quizzes is dangerous in a lot of different ways. First, it makes identity theft easy. Second, if you're being targeted or harassed by somebody online, sharing details about yourself gives them ammunition and information. They can use that information to impersonate you, to locate you, to hack your online accounts. So it's not a good idea. Try and keep things as private as you can online. Similarly, check-ins at bars and clubs and restaurants, they put a spotlight on where you are and what your habits are. And I would advise you just not to use check-ins, and to also disable any feature that allows your friends or your family to tag you in a check-in, because you could have your privacy locked down insofar as what you're posting, but if you don't block other people from tagging you and including your name in their posts, it doesn't make that big a difference, because people are going to then know where you are, what you're doing, and who you're with. You should, on social media, always select the highest security settings. Make sure that your social media accounts are marked friends only or private. Make sure that any personal details about yourself are private. Again, don't post your phone number, or don't post your school or job. Don't post personal information about yourself that you don't want the whole world to know. I would advise enabling two-factor authentication on all of your social media accounts. And in addition to that, create unique passwords for each and every one that aren't guessable. Do not use the same password over and over again. That's a terrible thing to do for a lot of reasons. Not the least of which is that if there's a data breach on any one of those sites, then all of your accounts on all the other sites that you use that password on are going to be unlocked. On sites that require answers to common questions for password recovery, the questions are usually things like, what's your father's middle name? What town were you born in? And this is going to be information that might be readily accessible to you, about you rather, online. So I want to just put it out there that you're not obligated to put strictly accurate information in response to those questions. What you are obligated to do is put down something that you're going to remember that other people might not guess. So be careful with those questions and answers too. Now, if you are in the unfortunate situation where somebody is harassing you or sending you unwanted messages or texts, you can block them. And you should know that you can block not only phone numbers, you can block social media accounts, you can block email addresses, and You know, exercising control over who has access to you is an important form of self-care, and it's an important step in regaining control if you've been harassed or stalked or targeted online in any way, shape, or form. If you are being harassed on social media, you should know that every platform has a reporting mechanism. Some of the networks encourage blocking and unfollowing as opposed to reporting, but regardless of what the verbiage is that they use in the notice where they tell you how to report someone, each and every site has a mechanism to report harassment or abuse online, and many of them, including Facebook, say, hey, we're not going to disclose the identity of someone making a complaint if a complaint is made. If someone does threaten your safety or reveal personal information about you or share sexual pictures or videos of you, you have to report it to the police immediately. That is illegal and it's a violation of you. You should save each and every harassing email, text, post, or message, and don't just save them. Take screenshots of them, save and back them up, and keep copies of any and all notifications that you give to the police. If it's something that's happening in your place of business or at your school, that you make to HR or to the dean of your school. Keep all those notifications because they may be important evidence if there's a criminal or a civil case arising out of that harassment. Additionally, you should know that all states have something called the Address Confidentiality Program, and if you are being harassed or stalked and the perpetrator does not know your current address, you can protect yourself by registering for the state's Address Confidentiality Program. And what that will do is give you the ability to use a P.O. box for all of your public records, like the DMV, the Board of Elections, and a lot of information about you is available through public record repositories like those found on Westlaw and Lexis. And being registered on the state's Address Confidentiality Program would enable you to not have your home address listed on those at those state agencies, and that'll make it harder for a harasser or a stalker to find you, which you know, it is extremely important for your own personal safety. Another good vehicle for protecting yourself, not necessarily online but electronically, is to have a Google Voice phone number. That will allow you to hide your caller ID and change the caller ID for incoming calls. So if you have a Google Voice number and you don't want people to know your actual number, you can make calls using Google Voice, and that'll give you the ability to keep your actual cell number private. And that's good if you're utilizing dating apps or any sort of like online social forum that you are going to actually meet people in real life someday. You want to try and protect what they know about you before you have a trusting relationship with anybody that you meet online. If you are being harassed or stalked online, please, please, please do not keep your feelings bottled up. It is very scary. It's a violation, and it's not your fault. It's not something that you caused. So you should talk to someone you trust, whether it's a family member, a friend, a therapist, or a lawyer, anyone. You're not alone. There are people who want to help you, and what is happening to you if you're being harassed is not your fault. So I hope that these tips were helpful and that I was able to answer your questions about how to stay safe online and how to protect yourself from online harassment. Our Frequently Asked Friday does occur on Fridays, most Fridays, and I'd ask you to keep an eye on our Facebook page to find out our next topic. And thank you very much for joining me today.